What's up, guys? Simone Fan 101 here, and my first TV review, not my first TV review, but my first consistent TV review, for the next Wild Being. This is my WCPW Loaded review. It's their fifth episode, their sixth overall event. That's actually that aired on YouTube, I guess. And I already have. I'm going back to making notes so that way I can remember what the hell is going on. So let's begin, shall we? So we kicked off WCW Loaded. Technically they called it a new season, though I don't. It's not really called a new season. With Adam Pacitti backstage, and if you recall my Built to Destroy event, God damn it. If you recalled my Build to Destroy event, then you'll know that Big Damo turned heel. He hit Rampage Jackson. No, not Rampage Jackson. The guy who was barely on TNA and did dick all. Rampage Brown. He pile drived him twice. So I guess in a kayfabe, Brown is out on injury. And Pacitti, under normal circumstances, he would either have the person fired or disqualified or whatever. But he says he will not take the belt off Big Damo because he doesn't want to be the guy who is responsible for basically vacating the title immediately after it's been won for its first champion. So, in that respect, I think that's kind of clever. I'm like, okay, I'm a promoter, but I don't want to take the title that was just won and just newly created, because that makes me look horrible, and that makes me look like I'm not doing my job. So I can kind of understand Pacitti's claim. Before we continue the show, apparently if you watch Built to Destroy, I didn't say this in my last review, but we have a new commentary team. In the first two episodes, it was King Ross and God, I forget his name. William something. I really forget his name. And that was okay, but the second guy didn't do much for me. King Ross, though, was funny. And the second commentary team, which was episodes 3 and 4, was King Ross and Adam Blampied. Whenever Blampied wasn't in a segment with Rampage Brown, he was on commentary, and he was actually a face commentator, which is weird because on the show he's a heel manager. Which it's a little bit weird, but I guess he did well, and that team was actually pretty good. King Ross and Adam Blampied for a commentary team had good chemistry. Too bad that they kind of broke up the team. Blampied is just strictly a manager. King Ross, I don't know what he's doing. And I'll explain a little bit later. When they've been replaced by another commentary team that's made a few other shows. With Alex Shane and Dave, what's his name? Dave Bradshaw. And on my thoughts on the commentary team, Dave Bradshaw did fine. He did well enough. Alex Shane, though, is... God, I was annoyed by this guy throughout the show. Alex Shane is the WCPW version of JBL, and we all know what we think of JBL in commentary right now. Yeah, he sucks. Although he did have a couple of lines that was actually pretty funny. Unlike JBL. So a tiny step above. So we really started off with the show with a triple threat match between El Ligero, Noam Dar, and the first WCPW appearance of Will Ospreay. Or Ospreay. I call him Ospreay. Match itself? Match of the night. I mean, you had to see this coming. This was definitely the match of the night. It was a really good match. Wasn't a great match, I don't think so. Because if it was given like 5 or 10 more minutes and a little bit more fast paced in the beginning, it would have definitely been like an awesome match. As it is, it was a pretty damn good match. Just to remind you guys, for the rest of my TV reviews for the shows that I watch, the matches that you'll see in the description box with the rating, those are going to be the good matches that I want you to see. Like the matches I want you to see that are good, those are the ones I want you to watch. So those are the only, I'm not going to put shitty ones down there. Those are for the pay-per-view reviews. So I think it was like maybe the longest, maybe second longest match of the night. But this was a pretty damn good match between these guys. Will Ospreay won with the springboard cutter. He pinned, I believe he pinned Noam Dar. But this was an overall great match. Good performance by all three of these guys. Well done. We next came up with a brief backstage segment between Joe Hendry and Joseph Connors. Connors pretty much saying, I'm not going to be with you at ringside tonight because in the past few weeks, Joe Hendry has kind of been the focal point of the team, but Joe Connors has really been just the second guy. He has and even though he's a pretty darn good wrestler, from what I've seen, he's been just basically the second guy. So, and Connors is like, I don't want to be the second guy. I want to be a partner. I want to be somebody. And he even said, like, I hate it when you interrupt me in the middle of my sentence. This actually built something. It was actually building to something. Whether it was small or big, at least it was building to something. Which is, it's appropriate because the next match happened to be Joe Hendry versus Alex Gracie, one half of the Prospect, not Prophecy like I said in WCPW Loaded. I'm sorry about that. But Prospect, which it was either before or after the segment I just mentioned. We had a brief, like a 30-second backstage promo by James R. Kennedy, who is the manager of the Prospect, and the newest member of their little group stable is Drake, who we've seen in the past few weeks. He's lost a couple of matches. He's pissed off, and at WCPW Loaded, he attacked Jay Lethal after his match with Noam Dar, and hit him with the springboard codebreaker. So yeah, Joe Hendry beat Alex Gracie. This was a good match. However, I do think there was way too much interference and bullshit from Lucas Archer, the tag team partner of Alex Gracie, and Drake. There was too much. Although Joe Hendry came out to a face reaction. I have to say this: when Joe came out, his theme song is usually he sings his theme songs. This one was funny though. He sang his own lyrics to the song TNT by AC/DC. Like, TNT, I'm dynamite. And he's like, and his song was like Team Hendry, I always win. Team Hendry, I'm always right. And then the end is like, I keep saying TNT. Team Hendry, my name is Joe. It cracked me up when hearing that. So the match itself was a good match. Like, I guess for the wrestling, you could go ahead and watch it. But if you're not a fan of the constant interference, which I wasn't, it's what dragged this match down, then you can skip it. Although, what happened was Joe Hendry won, and he was briefly in a post-match attack by Gracie, Archer, and Drake. This is when finally Joseph Connors came out for the save, and after they made up their way up the stage, Hendry seemingly, almost like fully turned face, saying that Connors saving Hendry, it really meant a lot to him, and he allowed Connors to speak. And Connors, in a nutshell, basically said, "This is like the new team. We're gonna rule, and we're actually a team." And the good old lucky stuff. So this is like leading up to three things. One, it already led up to something. The fact that Hendry is actually a face now, and they're an official team. Two, Hendry is gonna be playing a ruse, turn on Connors, and they're gonna have a feud. Or 3, Connors may actually be sick of Hendry's shit and may turn heel on him. You know, kind of like the EC3 thing, like almost like a double turn. So, there's that. The next segment was a brief ass backstage segment between King Ross and Martin Kirby, who, if you watched Built to Destroy, Kirby was in a dress, and King Ross was his biggest fan. I don't know why this segment was even here, because I don't even know what they're doing with King Ross. He should have just stuck to commentary. Replace Alex Shane. I mean, that would actually be pretty good. Getting rid of the JBL 2.0. And King Ross called, I think Martin Kirby called King Ross a dickhead. Ross called Kirby a dickhead. I don't get it. I don't know. Someone please explain to me in the comment section what the hell is going on. So the next the next match was the first women. Adam Pacitti came out announcing the WCPW women's division, and we had Priestley, like priest, but Priestley versus Nixon Newell. And I have to admit, like, this wasn't the greatest match on the show. That definitely went to the 3-way, but this was an okay match. Like, for our first showing, this wasn't bad. I did think there was more to offer, and the botch ending, I'll get to that. But yeah, I thought so too. But yeah, I thought it was a decent match. And on a side note, Nixon Newell is almost like the girl next door, like the cute girl next door you want to go out with. Priestley is like that hot chick you want to bone like that night you see her. I can't believe I just said that. I cannot believe I said that. I'm sorry. But the ending of the match came when Newell tried to hit a Canadian Destroyer on B. Priestley. The problem? The Canadian Destroyer looked like shit. John Cena's modified Canadian Destroyer was better than this. John fucking Cena. And you know he doesn't do that move that well. If he can do a better, quote, Canadian Destroyer than this girl can, either A, that was just one botched attempt, or B, stop using that move. You don't run at your opponent when doing the Canadian Destroyer. Just do it the way P.D. Williams did. Or do it the way Adam Cole does when he jumps off the top rope and then does the hop to the Canadian Destroyer. So there's that. Next we had it was a backstage segment, but then it was a match between the other two members of Prospect, which was Lucas Archer and Drake, against a new tag team in WCPW of Johnny Moss and Liam Slater. And I actually looked up Johnny Moss. He's 36 years old. He's wrestled in WXW. He's had one match each in GFW, TNA, and a NOAH event, which was a cross-promotional event that happened to be a part of. He wrestled in the NWA early on, and has even had a couple of pretty good matches from what I hear, with one of them with Zack Sabre Jr. And this guy really impressed. He's big, he's strong, he's jacked, but he's also fast and can do suplexes like your mother. I meant suplexes like Jason Jordan from American Alpha, and that's impressive. And this guy was fired up, like he looked impressive. So I gotta wrap this up soon because the video is probably gonna be ending soon. Aaron Stevens, who is Damian Sandow, faced Doug Williams. I just gotta say, Doug Williams, two things about him. One, he looks in pretty good shape for a guy who's in his mid-40s. But two, he's definitely slowed down. He's not the Doug Williams of 5 or 6 years ago, sadly. Yeah. Just a quick note, the Johnny Moss and Liam Slater did beat Prospect, so losing in on Prospect for all three members. Aaron Stevens beat Doug Williams in an okay match for a number one contendership for the WCPW title. Big Damo came out, low blowed Aaron Stevens, and the show ended with Blompier on announcing the match in 2 weeks. So Good show. Check it out. The show's like 2 hours long. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later. And I'll be watching Raw literally like in the next few minutes. Peace.